Thank you, Tammy Sue Baker. Glad to have you with me back home again.
I've been watching the earthquake maps, and it's like if you could imagine, here's the coast, and you got a continent sliding under. There's a line of activity that I almost wonder, is that line of activity the edge of the continental plate that is sliding under? They have said that situation has been locked. There hasn't been hardly any activity where the two continents are coming together. The pressure is building up. And the Lord told Byron that when the Northwest quake goes off, 24 hours later, or within 24 hours, somebody will call and say, oh, it was 23 hours. He was a false prophet. So the Lord told him the San Andreas will go off the next day at 12.2. And more than one prophet are saying that from the San Andreas, it will slip into the sea.
Do you know what a 12.2 does? It's unheard of.
You will feel it in Boston when a 12 point hits the West Coast. The Lord told him, let me see if I can see this. There's judgment coming here. And the Lord mentioned that California wants to split off. Yeah. God is going to split them off.
Who said that?
The Lord told in this prophecy.
This prophet.
Yep, that California wants to split off from our nation. He's going to give them what they want. California has a lot of sin that God has been through many prophets warning that judgment is coming. God has told people that through prophets, I've heard prophets say that unless God tells you to stay, you need to get out.
Right.
John Paul Jackson said they're going to have to rewrite the map of California. And other prophets have said this.
Rick Joyner has.
Yes. He said it on our show.
He said it, and it shocked me because he was so bold. And he said, don't stay unless God says stay. And if God says stay, you stay. But you pray about leaving.
And
So I'm letting him open up the whole world of that we see. We see this world every day, the prophetic world. And we're opening up a door that, we're going to get a lot of criticism for this show. And,
okay, let me tell you something that Mark Argeson told me.
So I'm here with you, John.
Okay. We'll be here to the bitter end. We'll go down together. Mark Argeson, just over a week ago, told me, he says, I don't know what's going on, but something is going on in California. He told me that one of the big box stores just called, and this is not the company, this is just one individual store, said they want him to ship 30 pallets of buckets. He says, I've got churches calling me. They're putting in large orders. I've got non-Christian people, Christian people. They're all ordering food for California. He says, what's going on? He says, I'm seeing more orders going into California than into Florida and Houston. And the thought that hit me, I wonder if the Holy Spirit is speaking to people and warning people to get food because this is out of the ordinary. Something very big could be ready to happen. It's locked and loaded in California.
And there's a lot of good people.
Yes.
A lot of great
part,
churches in California.
All, think of your family, your friends.
They're hearing from God, I think.
Churches. Yeah.
I think they're hearing from God. And, and it's shaking already. I mean, the atmosphere is shaking.
Yeah.
And something's happening. Literally, people, listen to me. America has mocked God.
Yes, we have.
Be not deceived. God is not mocked.
That's right.
You know what? There's an old Italian saying, shut your mouth. Don't mock God. Don't be such a jerk. Can I put it that way? That you just go around. Just don't say it. Don't mock him. Just say, God bless everybody. God, you better turn. God said he can save a town. He can save a city. If they just pray, repent, turn from their wicked ways. America is not turning. They just changed the abortion law. After 20 weeks, you're not going to be able to have an abortion. And guess what? Liberal people who believe in abortion are mad. Mm-hmm. They want to kill a baby as it's coming out of its mother's womb.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You think God's going to bless that? I've warned and warned and warned. God's not going to bless. We sing, God bless America. But we mock God. And we have our women march in the streets for the right to kill the unborn baby. The innocent, the one who can't fight for themselves. The Bible talks about that. John, go on.
Well, this second judgment, earthquakes, the Lord told him that you would have people repenting in greater numbers after the earthquake.
Oh, I believe that.
But then the Lord said, but then they would explain it away. They would say this is a natural occurring event.
Yeah.
And the pressure had built up. It had to release sometime. It's not a God thing. It's just a natural thing.
Of course.
And the church would go back to sleep. And then the third event, the third judgment coming on this nation, and I'll tell you, Perry Stone has talked about this numerously.
I saw a tsunami. The tsunami dreams happened every 2 to 3 weeks for over a year. And by now I'm about to go crazy. I'm thinking, God, what is this about? I mean, there's a shaking coming from the East Coast and water's coming that way. But there's something on the West Coast, water's coming that way. And when it does, I mean, the last one I had about California, I saw it coming in so high that we were in cars trying to get up to the mountains. Now, this is how real it was. And we went up, I don't even know where we were. We were in Orange County somewhere, but we got up a mountain. Mm-hmm. And I got out of the car, and the next thing I know, I'm in a woman's house, and she happens to know my ministry from TV. She sees me outside, and she says, are you Perry Stone? She says, oh, my God, come in here and look at the news. And she was able to get satellite, I guess. And I saw the Fox News Network with helicopters on the news. And they're saying water is everywhere. Buildings are underwater. There are bodies floating already. This was horrible, Jim. But in every dream, and some of them were visions, it's the same thing. The water comes into the area very heavy, and I'm always screaming at people, get water and food and get to the top. Go to the highest place you can go with water and food. Now, see, some people... I know you have food supplies and they're in barrels. Now, I'm going to tell you something that you don't know. You've never heard me say this. Nobody on TV has ever heard me say this. None of my partners have ever heard me say this. But in my dreams, I see food in containers that can float.
That's ours.
That's our containers.
They can float. I literally saw this.
Wow.
And I thought, now that's an idea. If people have something that floats, and they tie it together, then they're not going to have to worry about losing it if it's protected.
That's right.
The Lord said it would come suddenly. There would be no warning. You know, if Canary Islands happened, I would imagine something would catch that and you would have a few hours' notice. But this is going to come without notice. And I have my thoughts on what would cause a tidal wave without notice. But anyway, said that it would be half the height of the Empire State Building, that it would actually go all the way to the Appalachian Mountains on the eastern seaboard. And let me tell you, there's not hardly any safe places.
Well, you know, the Canary Islands are split already.
Yes.
And that can happen. The scientists say it. You don't have to listen to preachers. The scientists say that. So these are things that are possible in the natural, you know. And God You know, God allows certain people to build on fault zones, certain cities that he's going to judge. Mm-hmm. And this situation in Las Vegas is in so many prophecies. Mm-hmm. God sent a lot of great churches to Las Vegas.
Yes.
And I believe God's warning, and he always warns.
Yes.
He always sends Jonas, a prophet, a person. But we won't listen. We're comfortable mocking God.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go away. We'll be right back after this special message.
Hello, I'm Jerry Jones, and I'm standing here right in front of the largest and best well-rounded offer we've ever brought to you in the line of survival food. We've all gotten together and put together the best variety of 53 different kinds of food, and this is for a love gift of $3,000. Why do we need to prepare?
I believe we're one disaster away from major food shortages. FEMA is buying up food big time to help with the disasters in Houston, Florida, and the Caribbean. And they're indicating that the food supply is way down, and I believe that we're one disaster away from seeing empty shelves in our stores and seeing companies like Mark literally running out of food, to where one disaster, you could literally be seeing a 6-month to an impossible waiting time to be able to get food. This is no exaggeration. I've looked at this, and let me tell you, when I take a look at this food and I look at, wow, I have looked at and studied long-term food for almost 20 years. And I can remember, you know, in the early years of my looking and sampling different foods, there was a lot of beans and rice and fake this and fake that. And this is real food.
This is the best, biggest variety, best tasting food, the Cadillac of foods, as Mama Lori repeatedly says from Ray Gano. This stuff, I will tell you, I have not had a complaint about this food. Mark, Jennifer, tell us a little bit about how you selected these 360 cans.
Of course, Jerry. What I really want to do is tell you guys and stress the urgency of getting food and storing food and getting an order in soon. We've seen a lot of shortages in the food industry currently. We see a lot of back orders, people saying, hey, I don't even know when I can get you the food. Just get your order put in. Exclusively for this offer and the partners in the Morningside Ministry, we have product available. It'll ship out within a couple weeks, and so we want to stress to get your food and get it soon. And I wanted to really show you guys the showcase what Mark Augustin and Jennifer Augustin would store and what we do store at our house. We have a cabin up in the mountains, and we store multiple kits, but this is our foundation. This is our kit that has everything and anything we need for our family. We have small children. We have some, teenager as well. And this food is really concepted of all my favorite recipes. And me as the president of Augustin Farms and the owner, this is what the owner stores. So if you had your ultimate dream kit, at least if I did, this is what I'm storing. So if you cannot go wrong with this, it's guaranteed to fulfill many recipes. So we were offering a brand new recipe book with this kit today. It's fantastic. It's over 100 of Mark's favorite recipes, which includes great recipes like how to make chicken pot pie, how to make lemon blueberry muffin bread, as well as taco salads. We're doing meatball soup, hush puppies, cookies, rolls, you name it. There's over 100 recipes. I can't even name them all. And what the greatest thing about this kit is what I really want to let you guys know is we're hitting all the food groups, all the food categories. We have grains, we have proteins, we have vegetables, we have fruits, we have eggs and dairy, as well as the staples. So we're talking sugar, we have salt, and we have entrees, which are fantastic. We have breads, we have breakfast mixes, drinks, and desserts. So not only are we offering breakfast, lunch, and dinner, there's also desserts that come in here for comfort foods. So we're all kind of look for my kids. I know they are very picky eaters, but there's a recipe and a meal in here for every single person in my family that they can eat repeatedly, and will never get food fatigue because of the 1,000 different options you can make with this kit. This kit is phenomenal. It's over 360 cans. It's got heart, it's got love, it's got nutrition, it's got sustainability, and it's got variety in it.
Jennifer, I've got to say, you must have added those fudge brownies that we made into muffins today.
A lot of love goes into this. He loves making this stuff, and the flavor is really good. My kids really love the fudge brownies and the muffins. I give pancake mix to the teachers during Christmas time, so it's a good gift because it can store and it can also be used throughout the year as well. So I really enjoy the blueberry pancakes and the buttermilk pancakes.
And you're going to get many cans in these number 10 cans that are going to be very easy to give away as gifts or spread out to the other parts of your family. It's a $3,000 gift. We're looking at the Super Grocery Store offer, and you need to call now because in our first day in the studio, I will tell you that the response was overwhelming from the audience because at 14 cents per serving, this is by far the best offer we've ever have made available. So call now, 1-888-988-1588. Write to us at P.O. Box 7330, Branson, Missouri, 65615. Or you can get it on our website at jimbakershow.com. We want you to get in front of the line so that you get your food now and that you don't miss out.
Call now, 1-888-988-1588. You can also write Jim at P.O. Box 7330, Branson, Missouri, 65615. Or you can order this offer and many others online at jimbakershow.com. Thank you for your prayers and financial support. It's because of you we can continue to broadcast the gospel of Jesus Christ around the world.
And
I don't want to interrupt you, but we were cooking food and I've forgotten it. We're going to serve you, is it some of the food from the cans?
Yes, it's all the food from the kits. We're going to do mashed potatoes and gravy, as well as freeze-dried corn, blueberry muffins, and veggie stew.
Okay, this is from our brand new offer today. And don't you think I know I get criticized when I'm warning people about things happening and then say, here's some food. You know why I offer food? Because first of all, there's only a few stores in America that even sells it. I'm the only preacher, probably. There might be a couple that are my friends that are doing it. Because they're chicken. And they just going to believe everything's going to get better and better. I just said, John, I want you to come and give the newsletter basically of what you've been sharing with me. And I've never let him do this.
No.
I regulate John heavily.
We read a lot and filter.
John's spent a lot of time up in that desert hearing from God, and I just, he scares me sometimes. And
the message of the hour.
But I believe in John. I believe he's a man of God. I believe God sent him out to the desert to hear from him, and I think it's an amazing thing. I think it's great what he's doing. And that's why I kind of, when I first started taping today, I talked about all the people he's using that he listens to and he hears. I want you to hear, for the first time, a congregation of prophetic voices that are not well known, most of them.
Yeah.
And I just want you to weigh it out.
That's it.
And the multitude and the multiples are adding up.
Yeah.
And they're getting bigger and bigger. And there's more and more and more. And you know what? I preached the revelation. I wrote a book that I don't know if anybody's ever read it, but on the revelation, the time has come. And it's so funny. I've used this title more today than I have ever since I had it, probably. Mm-hmm. And this is the revelation, all of it. When I believe the rapture takes place, all this is in this book. The time has come. And what I want to do is I want to help John. Anybody who wants to help support him?
The prophet.
I've got his book. This is it's part 2. It's actually part 1 and part 2 together, but it's
Correct.
this. When it says part 2, it means this is the second version of the Lord's return, and the prophetic word, the window of the Lord's return 2012 and 2020, the unfolding signs of the end times. This is an amazing book that John wrote himself, heard from God, just writes it all out. And this book, and then his book of Revelation, Unlocking the Mystery of the Revelation, the author of The Window of the Lord's Return, John Shorey, writes this book. So for a gift of $50 to just help support the ministry, this is just your little gift offering. I'm not going to say tithe and offerings. I like you to give your tithes to your church. If you don't go to church, you can send your tithes to this ministry, because we have a church and we do a lot of things that we need help with. But I want to give you those 3 books. And then tomorrow night, he's speaking here on Gray Street, and he's going to go through the stuff we can't get to on the TV. All of his current list of the prophets, of what they're saying, whether it scare you to death or not, you're just going to have to come and, bring a seatbelt or something. But I'm going to send you this message that hasn't even been preached yet. So it's as current as can be of all what's going on in the world. Kind of part of like what we're doing today. I want you to repeat what you do too. I want to put it. So I'm going to send that with this too. And you get another seminar. The preparedness seminar. John's a prepper. He's a prepper prophet. So
Can I say something about this DVD? This DVD has 3 one-hour seminars that we did about a year ago, but some of the most best and most important information on preparing that you will ever listen to. There's a title. There's Food Security, Top 10 Keys to Preparedness, and Last Minute Prepping. The top 10 keys to preparing, I have one section in there. I almost did half the whole thing on one section called Spiritual Preparation. Let me tell you, that message on spiritual preparation is so important. There are preppers, Christian preppers, that are going to be left behind unless they listen to and put what's in here into action. Let me tell you, there's going to be a big surprise when the rapture happens. There will be people left behind. And if you don't want to be one of them, you need to hear about spiritual preparation. I'll give you a hint. The Lord's Prayer says, "Forgive me my trespasses," or my sins, "as I forgive others their trespasses against me." There's too many marriages, as one example, where they're living under the same roof, but they're constantly bitter and angry at each other because of unforgiveness. I saw a YouTube video interview of this black preacher from Africa that died, and he was raised from the dead in a Reinhard Bonnke meeting after being dead and embalmed for 3 days. It was right on video. I have the video. I watched this guy thawing out. He's as stiff as a board. And he's coming back from the dead in a Reinhard Bonnke meeting. The wife wanted to bring him down on the altar, and they said, "No way, you'll scare everybody." They had to bring him into the basement, but the coffin wouldn't fit through the door, so they took him out and put him on a Sunday school table. And you could hear the revival upstairs, and you could hear this guy coming back to life and see it. Well, in a YouTube video, he was being interviewed. They interviewed the doctor and the mortician. But this guy was being interviewed, and he said, I was for 3 days. I was on the other side. An angel gave me a tour of heaven and hell. And you know what the angel told him? He says, if this was your final state, you'd be staying here in hell. This is a preacher. And he says, that can't be. He says, I'm a man of God. My sins are under the blood. Da-da-da-da-da-da. And the angel said, you have refused to forgive your wife, and your heavenly Father cannot forgive you. There's numerous scriptures that God will forgive us as we forgive others.
If you don't forgive, you'll not be forgiven.
Yes. So that 20 minutes that's on this is worth your eternity. That's all I have to say.
Wow. But
Moral of the story, you better forgive. Must forgive.
you know, we're talking about this horrible massacre in Las Vegas. I just want you to think about this. We had 59 dead that we know of at this moment, 527 injured. Last year, there were 762 murders in the streets of Chicago. Why aren't all the liberal minds crying out to stop this massacre in the streets of our city as well as this horrible shooting, you know? And so there's 1,000 shootings this year so far in Chicago. But we need to see. So I was just, John's writings, this is everything John has written and published so far is here. And then his new, I don't know what you're going to call that message, but it's going to shock your shoes off of prophetic words that are coming in that video. And then the preparedness seminar, they'll want to get that. And so we're going to throw in a little, this is the strangest gift probably, but be something you could give at Christmas time. Comes in a box, and for the $50, you get this too.
It's a charm bracelet, and you
But here's
called
what it was. I saw
God's Signs and Wonders bracelet because it has stars,
it's
moons, not
the sun.
No, it's not
but it comes in a beautiful
Yeah.
velvet box. Actually, if any of you ladies like bling bling,
It's bling bling.
This is a lot of bling.
It's a lot of bling.
But inside, when you give it to somebody, it has, I call it God's Signs and Wonders bracelet.
Yes. And also
So-
a little scripture
Well,
card.
just to go over the offer one more time so we know what all comes in this.
Okay.
It's 6 items, and you get The Prophet Speaks, which you are actually going to do a message tomorrow night here at Morningside. You get a seminar, which you did in 2016, and that's on food security, the top 10 keys to preparedness and last-minute preparation. The Window of the Lord's Return, Part 2, which is just an expanded version of your first book. Unlocking the Mysteries of the Book of Revelation, also by you. Time Has Come, the paperback version by Jim Baker.
This is the last book I read.
And then we also are throwing in this God's Signs and Wonders charm bracelet.
But this book is Revelation, the high points through the whole book of Revelation. And this is what God has been speaking to me. And you can share these for Christmas giving. But this little bracelet comes in a nice blue box that I'm giving to you as a little fun thing. You could give it for Christmas.
That's
Well,
right.
the great thing about it is it's something to start a conversation.
Yes, that's good. That's
Definitely.
good.
And that's what I'm saying.
Excellent.
So you walk up and somebody says to you, "Oh, what is that?"
Yeah.
Bracelet. That's beautiful, because they'll say it's beautiful because it's shiny and
Right.
blings all over the place. And you say, "Well, this is my Signs and Wonders bracelet," and then you can actually tell them about this. God says He's going to put signs and wonders. He said there'll be signs in the sun, in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth, distress of nations with perplexity, and the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, where the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. Then you turn over on the flip side. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. He's coming after the signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars, perplexity, and all this, and the sea and the waves roaring. It's all in this one card. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up, lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. Do you know when it says in the heavens these are the heavenly beings, not everything.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what could cause a tsunami? And I know a prophet, and he may even get to one of them, that says there's going to be tsunami on the East Coast and the West Coast.
Yeah, I mean, when we first met,
Mm-hmm.
that was one of the biggest things that you started talking about. I mean,
That's
even
right.
the cover of your book, Prosperity in the Coming Apocalypse,
Mm-hmm.
you see, you added, and we kind of argue about why are you putting that? People are
Yeah.
going to go crazy, but you
Right.
know what? You were right on.
Yeah.
And you seem to forget a lot of the times, because you get wrapped up in all these conversations,
Mm-hmm.
that what if an asteroid happens to hit the Earth? What are we going to do? So the Bible prophecies that we're living in right now, I mean, you talked about it so many days ago on this book. You know what? And I was showing John, this guy right here had a download from God that cost him his reputation, but he was willing to lose his life so he can gain something in heaven. And I think the question is, are we going to be willing to give our lives for Christ?
He wrote, I mean, amazing book after book after book. If you don't think John studies, look at this.
You can bring it on up.
Look, I don't know.
You.
That book is not antique. That book is just wore out. That's the original vision book there. And this man, I think, gave his life
Absolutely. And I
to,
think-
to leave this message.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to contact Don Evans and bring him here, and let's hear from his best friend. Let's hear from his heart on what went on with David Wilkerson after writing these books. And it's important that we know the history of where these books came from and what happened during this whole time. I'm so proud that you stayed with it.
I want to get back to you, John. We have a little snack here.
Yeah, we have-
This is from the 19-year food bucket.
Jim's over here just scarfing it down. John's over here, he's got his too. It's great. But we have mashed potatoes, gravy, stuffing, blueberry muffins.
Wouldn't these be good with honey on them? Because we got the honey company.
Gravy.
Talk about
You know
it.
what? Raise your hand about the gravy now.
Oh, yeah.
I see
Raise your
Amy
hand.
has gravy.
That gravy.
Oh my goodness.
And the mashed potatoes.
It's delicious. Yeah. It's really
Amazing.
good.
As we've said a million times before, we wish this was Taste Division. I wish you could taste this. I would feed it to you right now. It is so delicious. It's seasoned perfectly. The texture is perfect. I mean, once again, our friend Ray Gano said it's the Cadillac of survival food, and it truly, truly is. When Tammy Sue and Mondo, when you said about Florida and food fatigue, because they were having what, Sue? They were having
Hot dogs and hot dog buns.
right, and that's all
That's
they had
it.
every
Yeah.
day, whenever they could get something to eat.
Yes.
Well, that was a miracle they had that.
I know.
Yeah.
Fue tremendo.
What did you guys eat?
We ate what we could.
Yo me
I
preparé
prepared
con
myself with hot dog buns and hot dogs, which you can eat cold. So that's what we gave Frank and his kids to eat while they stayed here with us. But moving ahead, I brought juices because we could not cook or do anything. Juices, milk, was the only thing I could prepare.
So you don't get food fatigue. You have this recipe book that Mark put together for you. He put this together so that you won't suffer with that. So if I was you, I would call right now, 1-888-988-1588.
Or you can go to our website at jimbakershow.com and shop there all day and all night if you want. The 800 number is always open, and of course the website's always open. Or you can write us at Post Office Box 7330, Branson, Missouri 65615. And thanks for a snack here. I got to eat a little bit to keep me going.
Yeah.
And the food is so important. This is our first day. I don't know, but I have a little suspicion that this could be the last day you're going to let me order food, Mark, for this. Suppliers are even saying if anything else happens, they're not going to be able to even deliver the raw product to you.
That's correct.
For what, up to 6 months, they say?
It could be 6 months or more. So what we really want you guys to do is act now. Don't be afraid to purchase.
Yeah.
Be be a year earlier than a day late.
Mark just made a reference to something I put in one of my newsletters that I sent him.
Yes.
And I had put something in there that I'd found on the internet about preparing, and it said, would you rather be a year early or a day late? And when I was talking to Mark after he read, Mark told me, he said, in all the years I've been working and helping people prepare, I have never seen a convergence of things coming together that's giving an urgency to prepare like today. And so he told me, he says, I'm hauling this stuff out of my warehouses and I'm telling my, is it 200 employees? He says, I'm telling my employees I would rather be a year early than a day late. When the earthquakes come, there will be no warning. When the earthquakes come, I would almost guarantee it'll create a national emergency, and FEMA won't be asking for food. They will be taking food. So don't put yourself in a position where you're going to be a day late.
You know, they were blaming the president for not delivering the food in Puerto Rico. And they were angry, and you know, just especially the mayor there. And they were, you know, in Puerto Rico, the people are jamming the docks, trying to get off the island because there's no food. But now ships are starting to come in, and here's the thing. They blamed the president, and our systems were working. Our people that handle crisis were there. Our generals have been there. They've all been there working. They've been shipping. They've been getting planes. They've been getting ships, airlines, and we're even turning them into carriers for food, you know. But then we find out San Juan Teamsters didn't show up to deliver the food. The food had been delivered
to distribute the relief supplies
to the dock.
That's right. I mean, we've all seen it on the news. If you watch the news, you've seen
and yet
that.
She was there. The
food is
mayor was there beating up the president.
Right.
And behind her
was all that food. Did you see it?
All the food stacked. But the Teamsters wanted their pay before they delivered the food.
Right, and they couldn't. They literally couldn't get it delivered. Was the whole.
So there was a problem.
Right.
But here's the thing: in a crisis, just getting the food delivered is a problem, and that's why you need to have your own yard full of food. You need to have your own home safe. You need to have what you have. Nobody's going to take care of you when the great crises take place. They can't. I don't know how our nation is stretching from what have going on still now in the United States. And now we have to rebuild Puerto Rico and other islands. And they expect America to do it all. But they hate us. Not them, not Puerto Ricans, but a lot of people, a lot of places, they just hate us all over the world. And yet they want our money. And we've been feeding our enemies a long time.
You know, David Wilkerson, when he described that great quake that I believe he was talking about the Northwest, he was saying the bridges will be out. He says the mountain passes will be collapsed. And the Northwest, if you want to go north or south, you've got to cross rivers. And if the bridges are out, there's no traffic moving. If you want to go east to west, if you go west, you're going to hit the ports that are going to be destroyed. If you try going west, you can't go west unless you go through the mountain passes. And some of the mountain passes have so many rocks that crumble down from time to time. They literally put tunnels so they can run through the avalanches of rocks. But you will literally have roads going through the Snoqualmie Pass and these other different passes. They will literally be buried under rubble for miles. David Wilkerson even said there will be places where you won't be able to get in or out unless you have a helicopter. So if you think big truckloads of food are going to be showing up, forget it. And think about this. The electricity, the power poles, all of that will come down. All of the frozen food will thaw. All the refrigerator food will spoil. We have disasters coming where you have to have shelf-stable food to survive.
Yes.
If the EMP bomb that North Korea is planning to build, or building, already have one, they say, if it hits America, we could be out of power for decades. And there's no way to deliver the food. The planes will fall out of the sky. The trucks won't run. Cars won't run.
Yep.
But I just want one last thing. This food, we offering it today, and I can guarantee you we're going to deliver it. But if you wait, I can't guarantee it. The suppliers are saying they don't know how long they can do this. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Well, you know, one of the things is that people need to realize is that trucks are not going to be available to take food. We ran into this problem even going to Florida and Houston that there were no more trucks left. We got a call late Sunday saying that we have a truck that has become available for you guys to use. Do you want it or not? Of course, we said yes. The inflation to pay the price for this food to be delivered was twice as high as you would on a normal day. Twice as high. Now, can you imagine the reason why people can't get food in Puerto Rico is there is no trucks available. People want money. People want to get paid up front. They're not going to take a rain check or the checks in the mail type of deal. They want it up front. Now, can you imagine if we're one disaster away from everything just come to a stop, imagine for 1 second if we can't deliver this food because trucks are not available to be delivering.
And that's why you want food that doesn't need to be refrigerated.
Right.
It lasts years and years and years, up to 25, 30 years. Now, there's 20,923 servings in all this load. This is the super grocery store. Is this the cheapest we've ever had?
Absolutely. 14 cents, Pastor.
14
cents per
a serving.
Yes.
The cheapest food we've been ever able, and you need it. If you got some in you'll never have enough. It's going to be gold. People will pay you a fortune to just get one can of food. They're going to want food is going to be the gold.
And you want to get in line early because at 14 cents we've never done this before. So you better get in line soon.
And that 19 years of food, there's a bundle of it that the truck will bring to your house in the boxes.
Okay, that's great. That's how it's going to arrive at your home.
There's a whole pallet will come to your house.
60
Don't
boxes.
Get scared. If you can put your bed up on blocks and stick it under your bed. Just shove these boxes under your bed. If you're in a smaller place, be creative.
Put up a new wall and have it behind it.
You know, our friends in California, John and Joyce.
That's what our friends did.
And their
That's
guest
what John and
room.
Joyce did.
We slept with the food remember?
Yes, I
When we
do. On
visited
our
your house.
honeymoon, we slept with the food, and that is the truth. The night we got married, we slept with the food that actually they had for Y2K.
And that's why people aren't being prepared.
Exactly.
They think,
they think
well,
that
Y2K didn't happen.
Yep.
And you get the recipe book with this,
Yep.
and it comes to 14 cents a serving of the other food if you want to order the deluxe food.
Big stack over here, 28 buckets.
Yes.
That's $3,700. You're going to get 10,472 servings.
It has a real wide variety of stuff, doesn't it?
Yes.
Fettuccine Alfredo, elbow macaroni, creamy chicken rice, Spanish rice, cheesy broccoli rice, white rice, instant potatoes, which is mashed potatoes, which you just had. I was showing John right now. Would you rather eat the mashed potatoes or this block that we used to?
We used to have.
Offer?
That's what I put in our survival or grab and go bags after Katrina. This is what I put in all of my kids' grab and go bags because that's all that was available back then.
When Lori and I started doing survival food,
it's true.
That's all we could find.
Right.
That was long-term survival food.
Yeah.
And it actually does taste a little better than it looks. It looks like a block.
John and I said, we're not hungry. We'll pass.
And
Oh, boy.
it's
like a
but
bar
you
of
have to have good teeth.
You have to have good
It's
teeth.
hard as a rock. But this special of the deluxe food,
Yeah,
The Tasty Pantry Deluxe Bucket Time of Trouble. For
and a year
$37.
of that deluxe is in the buckets is
Yes.
That's
and they float.
$650.
And 2 years is
$1,200.
1,200.
1,200.
So I just want people go to online. But if you're going to order any of the food, if you're going to order a generator,
Yes.
I don't believe I don't think they're going to have generators in stock much longer. I really don't. People want them now.
And
because
they're moving quickly, and they are in stock right now, Pastor.
They're moving. I'll
Yes.
tell you that.
Pretty amazing.
And it's amazing.
Jim, you know what I heard on the internet the other day? The military is recognizing that if we have a grid down event, the military needs to have standby solar power available to be able to run essentials.
That's why we had this.
They're
made in
literally, the
solar.
military is literally looking at what you're selling as individual power stations to run off solar for when the grid goes down.
My goodness.
Yeah, and this is the new Super Deluxe, 300% more power.
Amazing.
And it charges with the sun. That's the great thing.
Jim.
And you get a microwave oven with it and
Right.
and the blanket that plugs in to heat you up so you don't
Jim,
die
I
in
got
the
to tell you
cold.
something about that new one.
Yes.
I'm not an expert, but I talked to one of the experts.
Yes.
At
You have one of them.
yes, and of course it's got 3 times the battery packs as the older unit.
Yes.
You can take the older unit and marry it, put it together with this new one, so you got 4 battery packs. But when I was talking to their engineer, he told me, he says, this is a lithium-based product, but it's a new technology. Your average lithium battery can be charged 1,000 times. This, and also you heard the stories about lithium batteries going up in flames?
Yes.
This cannot happen with this new technology, okay? It just won't happen, period. But he told me, he says, this battery can be fully discharged and recharged 2,500 times.
Wow.
It would literally take 7 years to run out of battery power if you totally discharged it every day and recharged it 2,500 times. Now, he said it'd be more likely that you would half discharge it and bring it back up, and you could recharge this thing 5,000 times.
Wow.
I mean, this is incredible stuff. And I asked him, I said, well, how many solar panels can you put into this? You know, you're selling this with 2. If you added 2 extra solar panels, you would literally produce double the amount of power, almost like having 2 units by only adding 2 extra solar panels.
Yeah.
You can actually put up to 5 solar panels on that. And if you marry it to the old one that you can put up to 3 solar panels to, if you had 8 of those 100-watt solar panels, you could literally meet all of your electric needs all day without discharging the battery and save that for nighttime when the sun's not shining.
People were so wanting these generators when the power went out in Florida. And the ones that had them were just out of their mind happy that they had juice. And so I'm hoping you'll order today. And the water supplies, you can go to our website. Everything's there. We don't have time today to go into all this in detail. But the water bottles and all,
Water bottles,
the filter,
water pitchers, the
you know.
filters, everything that you possibly could need. So you have to have clean drinking
You know,
water.
we went to Puerto Rico on our big last vacation with all the kids. We decided
Before they all started getting married.
We decided to do no
Yes.
Christmas, and we
Right.
went to Puerto Rico for
Yes.
spent all the money together to fly there, and that's where we were in the rainforest, and we were drinking water out of my regular bottle there.
Yep, we all had our
And here's the thing:
Extreme water bottle.
we're hoping in a few days to get on the airplane again with a load for Puerto Rico and bring them back. This bottle that we had, and it was quite new at that point, and this takes out all the bad stuff. So those people can literally filter the rainwater around them, the flood water, through this and stay alive. And it takes out 99.999 of all contaminants.
Right.
And so I hope you'll do that. What we're doing.
Well, the extreme water filter it removes E. coli, bacteria, chlorine, sands, pesticides, harmful metals, aluminum, arsenic, asbestos, chromium-6, fluorides, copper, lead, mercury, radiation. It's an amazing, amazing
It's the
product.
only water bottle I know of in the world that removes radiation.
Right.
You know.
So we're doing on that one, we're actually doing a disaster relief water offer, which I like what Jerry Jones puts together. You get 6 and you give 6. So you get 6 of the extreme survival water bottles, and then we'll be sending in your behalf to these disaster areas that we're going to. They're going to receive 6 of the 24-ounce extreme survival water bottles.
He made them up special for them.
Yes.
This is a fast drinking where you can drink a lot where people are really thirsty.
Take a gulp.
It just the filters moved up to here. This one you suck the water out. This one you just glug it out. You know, glug, 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 you know, and drink it as fast as you want to. And the owner of this amazing Seychelles company, Carl Palmer.
Yes.
He is now at this minute manufacturing a Puerto Rican bottle.
Wow.
A special bottle for Puerto Rico that will have actually double the filtration, because he said there's going to be so much. He said the bottle takes it out, but he said I'm going to get it. He said because there's so much poison in the water, so much sewage in the water, so much. He just said I want to give them a super duper bottle. We ought to market it after he finishes it to other people, because
I mean, his wife is
it'll
Puerto
be the
Rican.
catastrophe bottle.
Absolutely.
And so we're hoping to send the airplane to him first. In fact, he's working on getting some more airplanes, because we need a lot of airplanes. He's working with, I won't say what company, but one of the shipping companies to get us a donated big freighter.
Oh, wow.
And so we'll take the bottles from there, and then the food. We have shipped $1 million personally with us taking it.
Yes.
So far, $1 million worth of food.
It's amazing.
And
this ministry.
And I want to thank Mark
and Jennifer
Augustin. Wonderful couple that.
Thank you.
You don't stop. Please don't give up.
No.
Ever. I know you're doing
praying for
you're shipping. You're working night and day. I can't believe you're here.
It's amazing.
You're running your factories almost full time now.
Every day but Sunday. So
That's
we're
good.
back to the 6 days a week, 6 nights a week schedule. So
And
I'm glad you guys take off
and he
Sunday and
brought
Sabbath.
he
That's
he
good.
really
Wise.
he brought us a new the cans food. It's number 10 big cans. These big
Amazing.
cans. But it's just so much in it.
But it's a complete grocery store offer, and also there's the super grocery store offer, and it gives everything. So the super grocery store offer you see on the screen right now, you're looking at it. It's a gift to the
That's the
ministry.
one that's the one for only $3,000.
Yes.
It's 19 years of food. Don't think it's too much.
No, and those number 10 cans and the food.
You'll give it away in 1 hour if you don't want it. 14 cents per serving. That's the lowest it's ever been, but it's in number 10 cans. It's packaged different. And if you get this now, you'll have it. But honestly, I don't see how a few days, even once this show hits the air, when the big suppliers are saying they're one crisis away from 6 months of being able to deliver any foods to make this food with. And when you told the story about how that the people wanted to buy, the government wanted to buy food from the regular canned goods people. And they said, no, if we give you what you're asking, the grocery stores will not have our food. There won't be enough to supply the grocery stores. That's serious. It's later than you think. We should say that, but it really is later than you think. So we really want you to order your food today.
Right.
This special. And right over there, we have
Glad, honey, you
the
remembered.
it's called a complete
guys.
grocery store.
That's
We
it.
got the super grocery store,
then
but there's the complete grocery store. We call it that.
That's $1,500, and that's 5
How many
years
years
of
is
food.
that,
That's
Ricky?
5 years of food. So you're
Fi-
better off getting the super complete grocery store because you're getting 19 years of food.
Yeah. But
But this is a good offer if you only
this
have
is
that.
it's the complete grocery store. It's Mark and his beautiful wife are sitting right in front of it there, and so you can sit there. This man and this woman are so amazing.
Yes.
You pray for them.
Pray for them.
I know that.
Yes.
I'll tell you what, Mark. I don't know nothing, but I'll tell you what. You have warfare sometimes.
Yes.
Can I prophesy over you?
Absolutely.
Because what you're doing to help save the world, save people, the devil hates it. The devil
right.
wants us starving to death.
That's right.
And so you're going to have warfare to do what you do.
Yeah.
And you do such good cooking.
Yeah. It's
Good
literally
food
like
for survival.
like-
Unbelievable. But
good home cooking.
we call this the complete grocery store. It's behind him right there.
Yes.
5 years and 4 months. And you can actually order that for $1,500. Now, that's not the big one's the deal.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if they put down, that's 26 cents a serving is what that one. Okay, we do have to go. Order your food, please, before it's too late. Listen, you can sell it if you have to
Wow.
and make money to get your hair cut, ladies. All the things you
Barter.
do.
Just
But
use it to barter.
Be
This
prepared.
is what you do.
That's
You
it.
just
The
barter.
Bible says only a fool sees trouble coming and doesn't prepare.
Yes.
God loves you. He really does. Bye-bye for today.
Bye-bye. We love you.
Thank you for watching today's broadcast of The Jim Baker Show. Please help us continue to share the gospel of Jesus on the airwaves. Call now 1-888-988-1588 to order today's special offers. You can also write Jim at P.O. Box 7330, Branson, Missouri 65615. Or you can order this offer and many others online at jimbakershow.com. Thank you for your prayers and financial support. It's because of you we can continue to broadcast the gospel of Jesus Christ around the world.